Senator Bernie Sanders is an independent of Vermont and serves on the Finance Committee, and he joins me now. Senator, it's good to have you. I want to just start with the story we're talking about in the last block, the president reacting to a bad jobs report by firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What do you think about that?
Why not? When you get bad news, fire the guy who delivered the news. I think that's sensible policy. Look, the bottom line is, I'm laughing, but this is very serious. In order for Congress and the White House to make good policy decisions, you need to have good information. And sometimes the information is positive, you're happy, sometimes it's not. But you need to know the truth. And what happens in authoritarian societies, the kind of society that Trump is moving us toward, is that when there's bad news, you fire the deliverer of that news, you lie about it, and you say, everything is really going great. And that is a terrible disservice to the American people who deserve to know the truth and deserve to have ideas as to how we can resolve the problems we're facing.
One of the things that was so striking about the jobs report today and what it says about the American economy is there's this sort of promise Trump has been making since the first time he ran of like recapturing this lost era of American industrial manufacturing might. And there's a lot of reason people want to do that because people had good unionized jobs and they were able to afford the basics in life. So it's an appealing vision. If you look at the numbers, what we've got is hundreds of billions being invested by 7 different men in AI. And the only thing that's growing is healthcare employment as the population ages and as the healthcare sector grows. It's like the opposite of the thing that's been promised.
Chris, my staff and I are studying AI right now, and we're studying it hard because I think Congress has no clue about what the impact that AI will have, not only on the economy, but on our very humanity. I am worried right now that AI is going to replace a lot of entry-level jobs for young people. I worry about rebuilding manufacturing, which is a good thing, something I strongly believe in. But it's not going to mean much to the average American worker if that job is being done by a robot. So I think we have got to take a hard look at the impact of AI. And of course, as you mentioned, tariffs are going to drive up prices. And the idea, by the way, that Trump would use tariffs as a political weapon against a country like Canada, who chooses to speak out on the horrors in Gaza, is absolutely insane. Tariffs need to be thought about very carefully. What's their impact on workers in this country? What's their impact on consumers? You don't suddenly raise tariffs because an independent, free country does something you don't like.
There's a kind of a little bit of, I think, a bait and switch that Trump has pulled off now twice successfully. Again, this kind of idea of this populist resurgence and then economic policy that was not that different in the sort of main legislation he passed from Mitt Romney, Bush, Ryan, huge tax cuts for the rich and all that stuff. And you're heading back to West Virginia, a place that you and I went for a town hall back in 2017, the first time. I want to play this clip. Because we talked to people, again, it was the sort of same thing. Like, people are looking for a leg up. They're looking for a break. They thought they would get it from Trump. Here's something that happened in that town hall. I want you to tell me about what you plan to do when you head there this time. Take a listen.
I voted for him only solely because he said he was going to help us. He was going to put the coal miners back to work, and we're going to have health care and this and that. We need health care. Everybody in this room needs free health care.
Now, are you expecting, I mean, when you think about him, he made those promises to you. You're looking for him to deliver on those promises.
Absolutely.
On health care.
Absolutely. On health care, yes, definitely. Because, I mean, some people are elderly. They have no way to work. They have no way, then if they can't work, like Mr. Evans said, they can't eat.
What are you looking to do when you go back to West Virginia on this fighting oligarchy tour?
Well, we're going to talk about Trump's promises to working people, in fact, what he has in fact done. And I would tell that gentleman, that coal miner, that what Trump has done in health care is not only done nothing that's positive. The reconciliation bill that was passed a few weeks ago is going to throw some 15 million people off of the health care that they currently have. It's going to raise premiums all over this country. So at a time when our healthcare system is broken and dysfunctional. And certainly for the people in a low-income state like West Virginia, massive cuts to Medicaid are going to be absolutely disastrous to individuals, to rural hospitals, to community health centers, et cetera. So I think it's important to expose the fact that Trump is a fraud. Yeah, every now and then he'll do something or say something that's positive for workers. But at the end of the day, what it's all about is supporting his oligarchic friends, massive tax breaks for the rich, major tax breaks for large, powerful corporations.
On Wednesday, an amendment you introduced that would have blocked weapons sales to Israel in response to the absolute devastation in Gaza happening right now, particularly the acute risk of famine and deaths from starvation. It got a record number of Senate Democrats. More than half the caucus voted in favor of 2 resolutions to block that U.S. military sales to Israel on Wednesday night. This strikes me as a shift in Democratic politics on this issue. What do you want the next step to be? Because things still seem exceedingly dire in Gaza.
Look, what is happening in Gaza is literally unspeakable. And I don't care whether you're a Democrat, Republican, independent, conservative, progressive, you do not want billions of your taxpayer dollars to be spent on a policy which is literally starving little kids in Gaza. Very few people in America think that that's appropriate. So I think what you saw by a vote of 27-17 in the Democratic caucus, what Democrats at least are hearing from their constituents, and they are making it very clear that they, the constituents, do not want billions more for Netanyahu's horrific policies against the Palestinian people. And by the way, Chris, I have a sneaking suspicion that you're going to see more and more. We didn't get one Republican vote, not one Republican vote for that resolution. But I think in the future, we are going to begin to see Republicans voting to cut aid off to Netanyahu.
There is very palpable rebellion among the base, younger Republican voters, conservative voters. You're seeing it everywhere. Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate it.